G'day folks, my name is Aaron Laguda and I'm a professional musician. That's what I do as a job. I travel the world, I play gigs all over the place, touring bands, resorts, cruise ships, you name it, I do it. But I've got a huge passion for food which comes from growing up in my nonna's kitchen. She had her own garden and she cooked amazing meals. Today we're going to show you her recipe of a minestrone soup and it's going to be amazing. Alright, so let's talk about ingredients. First but not least, proper olive oil, extra virgin. Don't cook this with any other kind of oil. Second of all, silver beet. This is a must for my nonna's recipe. Not everyone uses this, but I think it works amazingly well, especially with what we've got here is barlotti beans. Not everyone uses those either, but my nonna always used the barlotti beans. And we're going to put some chickpeas in there too. Might sound a little strange, but wait till you taste the combination. It's amazing. We're going to use a fair whack of garlic in this recipe. We're going to use a few cherry tomatoes. So the base of this soup is going to be a thing called sofritto. And what we're going to do is it's going to be 1 celery stalk, 1 carrot, and about half an onion. We're also going to use proper Italian peeled tomatoes. Now, I know this sounds crazy, but it's got to be from Italy. The ones in Australia, they just don't taste the same. Also, we're going to use some proper passata from Italy. You can't get the Australian stuff for some reason. They put sugar in it and that will destroy your whole soup. Not so for you! All right, guys, so now we're going to make the sofritto, which is celery, carrot, and onions. I'll chop the onion first. Now, this is how I do it. This is a good trick too. So if you can see what I'm doing here, I'm cutting the top off first, and then I'm going to cut it in half that way. That way, this little guy keeps it all together. So let's peel off the top layer. Now, this is a bit of a trick. It's a bit of a chef trick. Cut it like that. So we're going to go this way, and then we're going to put some slits. And now, have a look at it dice apart. Isn't that easy? We're going to do some celery here. I do it this way. I reckon works the best. We move on to the carrot. Half, quarter, and now I can stick them all together and I can make little squares. My nonna used to sit there with a little knife this big and do it all by hand. It took hours. I bought her a chef's knife once and she said, get out of here. All right, guys, so now it comes to the time where we chop up the silver beet. I'm using like pretty much that. So it's kind of like half a silver beet. The thing about silver beet is too, it's not one of those last minute greens where you put it in and it just wilts away. You've actually got to cook this thing. So yeah, this is how I like to do it. I just like to bunch it and roughly chop it because this is a rustic dish. You don't need to be Gordon Ramsay on this one. Now we're going to cook the first part of our minestrone soup and this is called the sofritto. So let's put the olive oil in and a pretty good whack. We're going to let that go for about 10 minutes, I reckon. We're going to keep stirring it, not all the time, but you just want to make sure everything cooks evenly. All right, guys, now this sofritto is looking pretty good. You'll see the onion here is kind of translucent. What I'm going to put next is just a few chopped cherry tomatoes. That'll bring out the sweetness. Don't be scared of salt because soup needs salt. As you see these tomatoes starting to break down a little bit, they're just starting to do that now. They're sort of kind of popping and changing colour. That's the time that we're going to put these whole peeled tomatoes in, from Italy, always. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put them in whole and then I'm going to crush them with a potato masher. Yeah, and by the way, folks, this is actually a gluten-free vegan dish. I mean, we're going to put a little pecorino cheese at the end, but you don't need to do that if you don't want to. Pecorino, it's made from goat's milk, so if people are lactose intolerant, they're going to be able to have this. So that's why I choose pecorino. It's salty, it's got this peppery thing to it. It's such a good addition to this. So now this sofrito with the crushed tomatoes just come to the boil, which is perfect. This is when I'm going to put the crushed garlic in, because I don't want to fry the garlic because that changes the flavour of it. But like I said, if we do it this way, the garlic will just infuse into the sauce and you won't even really notice it's there. So now we've got the garlic just heating up there. It's just coming back to the boil. I'm going to put a handful of barlotti beans from Italy in and a handful of chickpeas in. Barlotti beans in, chickpeas in. Folks, the barlotti beans and the chickpeas are now coming to the boil with the sofritto and those cherry tomatoes, and this is the time now that I'm going to put about half a jar in. Yeah, folks, so while I bring this up to the boil with the passata, while that's going to come up to heat, I'm going to put some carrot, some celery and potato in as well. So let's get it chopped up. But just on a side note, the carrot will go in first, then the celery and then the potato at the end, because the potato is the trick to figure out when the soup's ready, because you don't want to overcook the potato. If they turn to mush, the soup's no good. Now what we're going to do, we're going to add the silver beet. This is the next step. And if it's not enough water, I'm just going to put a bit more in too, but let's see how this goes. So there we go, that's that beautiful silver beet. Once this comes back to the boil, we'll give it about 5 minutes and then I'm going to put the potatoes in. Okay, the thing with the potatoes is once I put them in, after about 20 minutes I'm going to hit it with a fork, and if the fork just goes through the skin, that's the time to take the soup off, because then we're going to let it rest for about 20 minutes and then I know it's going to be perfect, because you don't want to overdo the potatoes because otherwise it'll wreck the whole soup. Zoink! And if you follow these steps, you'll notice that the sauce has gone from red to orange. And this is something that I worked out from my nonna. None of her soups or sauces were ever red. They always turned orange. And that's what we want. All right, folks, we've been simmering for about 25-30 minutes. You can see that the fork just goes into the potato, and that's exactly how we want it. So what we'll do now, we're going to take this off the heat, put the lid on and rest it for 20 minutes. It'll still be hot and it's going to be great, and that's how you know it's going to be perfect. All right guys, we've finished our minestrone soup, my nonna's way. Now to finish this off, we're going to put a little pecorino, little parsley, a bit of olive oil, a bit of salt, a bit of pepper, and it should be absolutely magnificent. I hope you like it. If you haven't tried pecorino cheese, guys, you've got to try it. It's like I said, it's made from sheep or goat's milk. So if you're lactose intolerant, you can definitely have this. All right, we're going to put some pecorino on there, a little parsley here. Now we're going to hit it just with a bit of salt on top. Pepper is the key. Pepper makes all these flavors just come together. And then we're going to finish just with a little bit of olive oil just on top here, just to bring out all that flavor. All right, folks, here's the true test. Let's taste this. You know what it is? It's the silver beet that makes it. There's not many minestrones that has silver beet. And the silver beet with the pecorino and the barlotti beans, you've got to try this. Producer Seb, you've got to try this, man.
Are you a bit of a soup Nazi?
No soup for you.
Shit, that's better than mine on it. Yeah, it's that silver beet. Very nice.
Thank you, Nonna. Thank you for being such a genius and showing me what food is supposed to taste like. Peace, y'all. If you don't know what that is capsicum. What are these called? Celeries. I've forgotten the name of the bloody things.
Celery.
It's not as easy as it looks. So first off, we're gonna... Sorry, bro. The bloody producer's trying to clean up before we've even finished. Look at those potatoes go in there.
Look at those potatoes go in there.